He knew. Roman Reigns knew the entire time. While the rest of us were pointing fingers, running theories, arguing in comment sections, and losing our minds trying to figure out who the mystery attacker was, the tribal chief was sitting back, watching, collecting information, and waiting for the exact perfect moment to make his move. And last night, after the cameras stopped rolling, after the live audience filed out of that arena, after the production trucks began shutting down and the superstars started heading to their locker rooms thinking the night was finally over, Roman Reigns cornered the mystery attacker backstage and ripped that mask off in front of witnesses that nobody in WWE management wanted in that corridor at that particular moment. The face underneath that mask is going to make you question everything you have watched on WWE programming for the past several months. Every match, every promo, every handshake, every celebration, every moment you cheered and trusted and defended this person, all of it was a lie. A carefully constructed, brilliantly executed, absolutely devastating lie. And Roman Reigns just burned it all to the ground. If you are not sitting down right now, I strongly suggest you do, because what I am about to break down on Ring Rumble 1 today is going to completely reshape how you see this entire WWE landscape going forward. Let us start from the very beginning of last night because the sequence of events leading up to this unmasking was not accidental and it was certainly not spontaneous. Roman Reigns did not stumble into this confrontation. He engineered it. Every single movement Roman made throughout the course of that Raw broadcast was deliberate and purposeful in a way that only became clear in hindsight once you understood what he was building toward. The matches he watched from ringside, the conversations he had with specific people backstage that were caught briefly on camera but dismissed as throwaway content filler. The moments where Roman appeared to be simply observing, standing still in corridors, watching monitors, exchanging glances with members of the bloodline, none of that was passive. All of it was Roman Reigns constructing a trap with the patience and precision of someone who has been playing this game at the highest level for a very long time and who understands that the most powerful move is always the one your opponent never sees coming. Because that is who Roman Reigns is at his absolute core when you strip away the championship reigns and the entrance music and the crowd reactions. He is a chess player, a strategist, a man who thinks 12 moves ahead while everyone around him is still trying to figure out what happened 3 moves ago. And last night, every piece on that board moved exactly where Roman needed it to move. The confrontation itself happened in one of the restricted backstage corridors, the kind of area that production staff access but that is not typically populated by superstars after the show wraps. Multiple witnesses have confirmed the broad strokes of what took place even as WWE's corporate communication machinery has been working overtime to control exactly what version of events reaches the public. And what those witnesses describe as something that none of them were prepared for despite the fact that tensions backstage have been building toward some kind of explosion for weeks. Roman approached, calm, unhurried, that terrifying tribal chief stillness that he carries like armor, the kind of composure that tells you this person is not operating on emotion because they have already processed every possible outcome and made their peace with all of them. The mystery attacker was there, isolated, and before a single word was exchanged, before any kind of verbal confrontation could develop or any escape route could be identified and taken, Roman Reigns reached out with those enormous hands and removed the mask. Just like that, clean, decisive, no drama, no build-up speech, no theatrical moment designed for the cameras that were not rolling. Just the cold, efficient action of a man who had been waiting for this specific moment for a very long time and who had absolutely no interest in making it any more complicated than it needed to be. And the face underneath that mask, the face that has been hidden from the WWE universe while this individual carried out one of the most sustained and damaging campaigns of backstage violence this company has ever seen, that face belongs to someone whose name, when I tell you, is going to hit you like a freight train moving at full speed. Now before we get to the identity reveal, because context is everything and I refuse to give you the answer without making sure you fully understand the weight of what it means, let us talk about what Roman Reigns actually said in that corridor after the unmasking. Because the words matter just as much as the action. Maybe more. Roman did not scream. He did not lose composure. He did not deliver some passionate, emotionally charged speech about betrayal and consequences. He spoke quietly, almost gently, in that low, measured tone that is somehow more threatening than any amount of volume or fury could ever be. And what he said, according to multiple Backstage sources, was essentially this, that he had known for longer than anyone realized, that he had allowed it to continue for strategic reasons of his own, and that the mystery attacker had served a purpose that was now completely finished. Read that back. Let it sink all the way in. Roman Reigns allowed this to continue. Intentionally. Strategically. Which means that every attack, every victim, every blood-soaked moment that we have watched unfold over these past months, Roman knew. He watched it happen. He factored it into his plans and decided that the chaos being created served his interests well enough that intervention was not yet necessary or beneficial. The tribal chief was not a passive bystander who finally discovered the truth. He was an architect who used the mystery attacker as an instrument and then discarded them the moment their usefulness expired. That revelation reframes this entire story in a way that is genuinely breathtaking. Roman Reigns is not the hero of this unmasking. He is the most dangerous villain in the room, the one who was pulling strings from the shadows while everyone pointed their suspicion everywhere else. And now the identity, the face under that mask. The person who has been terrorizing this roster, who left Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed bleeding on that mat, who struck in darkened corridors and disappeared like a ghost while an entire company scrambled to find answers. This individual is not a stranger to controversy. This is not someone who appeared out of nowhere. This is a superstar with history in this company, deep, complicated, layered history with multiple people on this roster including some of the very people they targeted during this campaign of attacks. Someone whose motivation, once you understand who they are, becomes horrifyingly logical in retrospect. All those targets were connected to this person's past. All those attacks were personal in ways that the WWE Universe was never given enough information to recognize. The motive was always hiding in plain sight, just like the attacker themselves. And when the full picture comes into focus, when every attack gets recontextualized through the lens of this person's history and their relationships and their grievances, the story transforms from a compelling mystery into something far more tragic and human and genuinely affecting. This was not random violence. This was someone settling scores that had been left open for years, executing a plan born from wounds that never properly healed, guided, we now know, by the invisible hand of Roman Reigns who identified this person's rage as a resource to be exploited rather than a crisis to be managed. So where does WWE go from here? Because the fallout from this unmasking is going to be felt across every single show, every single pay-per-view, and every single championship picture for months to come. The mystery attacker being exposed does not end the story, it ignites an entirely new and arguably more explosive chapter. Because now we have the attacker whose cover is blown and whose carefully maintained anonymity has been stripped away by the one person they perhaps never anticipated would outmaneuver them. We have Roman Reigns who has revealed himself to be even more calculating and morally complex than anyone gave him credit for. We have an entire roster of victims who now know who hurt them and will be demanding their opportunity for retribution. And we have a corporate structure that has been exposed as either complicit in or completely blind to everything that has been happening under their watch. Every single one of those threads is a main event storyline on its own. Combined, they represent the most compelling and layered WWE narrative architecture we have seen constructed in years. And the fact that it all traces back to one man, Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, standing calmly in a restricted backstage corridor after Raw holding a mask in his hand and looking completely, utterly unsurprised, makes it all the more extraordinary. The victims will want revenge. The mystery attacker will want answers from Roman about how they were used and then discarded like a pawn. Roman will want whatever Roman has always wanted, total dominance and complete control over every narrative in this company. And somewhere in the middle of all those colliding motivations, WWE has the ingredients for something genuinely special if they have the creative courage to follow this story wherever it actually needs to go rather than playing it safe for the sake of merchandise sales and carefully managed public perception. Do not play it safe, WWE. This story deserves better than safe. The fans deserve better than safe. And after everything the WWE Universe has invested emotionally in this mystery over these past months, the payoff needs to be as bold and as brave and as uncompromising as the setup has been. Right now, immediately, before you do anything else, I need you in those comments telling me your complete reaction to this unmasking. Did you see it coming? Does Roman's involvement as a knowing architect change how you feel about him as a character? And most importantly, What do you think happens next when the mystery attacker comes face to face with Roman Reigns on live television, knowing everything they now know about how they were manipulated and used? Share this video right now. Every wrestling fan in your life needs this breakdown immediately, because Ringrumble 1 is the only place giving you the full, honest, deep analysis that this historic WWE moment genuinely deserves. Like the video, subscribe to this channel, hit every notification bell, because this story is about to explode in ways none of us are fully prepared for, and we are going to be here covering every single moment as it unfolds. Ringrumble 1. We find the truth that WWE buries. Every single time, without fail.